Alrighty, so we are leaving work, thankfully, a little earlier today, which means I will not get stuck in rush hour traffic. I made it to, let's see, yesterday, my last meal was at 11, just because I was here for so long, so I didn't have enough food. So didn't get to Crumble until like 5:15. Ate my half of my French silk pie cookie in the car because I was starving, and it was delicious. Then all that traffic, I don't think I made home till 5:45. So I was in the car for like 50 minutes, 60 minutes yesterday. That was atrocious. Used to my no one's here when I get to work because I'm driving in at 5 a.m. Then no one's here when I'm leaving work because it's typically around like 3 to 4 p.m. So that was a experience I have not had for a while. However, if Nikki ends up getting this job, we move up to the area that she'll be working in. That's going to be like a 30-minute drive, and that's everyone then towards like the Raleigh area. So potentially a lot more traffic there that I may have to get used to again. But I got a comment on, or not a comment, someone shared my reel I made the other day with a good old scathing review of me. And we're going to talk about that. I had screenshotted it. I was going to make a whole little response to my story about it. I was going to DM the guy. I'm like, well, let's talk about it a little bit longer form. And then forget about it. Because I do not have the mental energy nor the desire to have a whole little Instagram argument. So we're not going to do that. We're going to talk about it in a longer form setting. And then that will be that. So the video I posted was the clean from yesterday. It would have been Thursday, the 14th. I was doing the floating toe, so standing on a pair of 25 kilo plates, deficit deadlift plus a clean from the mid thigh. Again, you can watch the video. The whole goal of the movement: take your toes out of the lift. If you're jumping back a lot, physics-wise, it's because you have a lot of weight on your toes. Like you are pushing more from your toes, that is pushing you back. So taking the toes out of the lift, you can't put all your weight forward like usual. So you have to be a little more in your midfoot, and the idea is then you go a little bit more upright. So I filmed myself doing this throughout a couple sets, and then the video itself said, hey, get off your toes. This one forces you to not be on your toes. Therefore, you can go a little more vertical. And it was a 30-ish second clip, so not a lot of nuance is to be had in 30 seconds. The guy who was talking crap had like 5 videos, so not really someone who is like an active poster. It was just someone who lifts, so again, not really a coach either. But the comment was more or less, I hate quote-unquote content like this. Paints everything as it was like some like very gross generalization of a diagnosis and a gross generalization of a solution to it. Talking shit about that. So, a couple points to that. One, if you are getting your information from Instagram, you are already in the wrong place to get that information. You should not be learning how to Olympic lift. You should not be trying to get any of your information from social media. We have seen countless times that social media lies, and even when protocols are in place, like the community reviews for any of the apps, they cannot always be that trustworthy. So it is of the utmost importance that, you review a couple sources, you go to a couple different places, you have some subject matter experts that you can refer out to, and not just take everything on social media for face value. Like it's your 60-year-old grandma going on Facebook, they see an article, oh my God, Joe Biden wants to do this. And then like, hey, did you hear that Joe Biden is trying to fucking castrate all the little boys, make them all into whatever? And then it's like, grandma, where the fuck did you hear that from? Because that's obviously not true. Kind of the same thing here. So Instagram, specifically just like short form videos in general, do not allow for any nuance. Surprise, surprise. It's a 30-second clip. You are not going to get the ins and outs and all the details of, hey, this is when you would do this is when you shouldn't, this is best case scenario, here's how to change it, here's how to modify, things of that nature. That's what a fucking coach is for. Crazy enough. That video, I do not post any of my videos as a one-size-fits-all approach. Because, well, one, there isn't such a thing. Two, I am a coach, so I am best able to help the people who hire me as a coach. Crazy enough. Stuff I put out there is meant to just be helpful. It's like if you have a very large problem of pushing through your toes, taking your toes out of the equation could help. At no point did I say, or should you ever think, that anything posted, especially in the exercise arena on the internet, is going to be the perfect solution for you. You'll get the perfect solution for you from a coach. So, talking through Instagram a little bit, like, why do I post in the first place? One, like the reason I post, but then also YouTube, it helps me practice getting my point across in a good manner. So all of YouTube is just straight public speaking. Right now, I am just really, all of these videos, all 37 now, are completely off the cuff. I have like a 1 or 2 sentence thing or just some bullet points of what I want to cover. I put the phone up and I rant. One take rant, crazy enough. I rant in one take. So it has been very beneficial for my public speaking, but more so my ability to convey a message in the best manner possible. So these videos are just my drive home, so I have to get to the point of what I want to say, make sure it is clear so that people can understand it, and all of that jazz. So one of the reasons I post is to help. It's just honestly like practice for myself at conveying my message in a way that can make the most impact on the most amount of people. Another reason I post is to then help my athletes know why I'm doing things and what things I'm testing. That has actually been a surprise one that I did not expect. But after I started originally filming these YouTube videos, I got a lot of comments from my own athletes of, oh my God, I didn't know why, or oh my God, that's awesome. Oh, hey, I want to do that. Oh, hey, what is this? Oh, hey, what is this? So it has been actually really great as a learning opportunity to give my athletes more of a peek behind the curtain of how I think, how I'm thinking through things, what things are testing, what they may see in future programs, reasoning behind what they are currently doing. That just sometimes doesn't naturally come up in conversation with the athletes, because a lot of the conversation are going to be around like them specifically, what we're doing, what changes we can make. They typically won't see a lot of like behind the curtain, like bigger picture where my mind is at, because I think about this a lot. It's roughly like 10 to 12 hours a day of my job. So they don't get the peek behind the curtain of every single hour of what I'm thinking about. YouTube has been a great way to give them that peek behind the curtain. Third reason of why I'm posting is to then attract potential clients. Like, I am a coach. For anyone who does not know, coaches do not work for free. At least most of them. The good ones, at least, do not work for free. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy making a living off of coaching. I make a living off my main job with the Army. Power and Grace, as an Olympic weightlifting coach, is a assistance to that income. This is definitely not my full-time income. But one day, like, I would not be upset if it was a full-time income and I was just purely, just 100% Olympic weightlifting coach. I would not be opposed to that by any stretch of the imagination. So, a lot of social media is then also attracting potential athletes to continue to grow the amount of athletes I have, make this actually a long-term venture where I can do this for a living. So, with all of that, none of the goals are to... at least on Instagram, the goal is not to be as nuanced as possible. That is why I started doing YouTube. Because in a 30-second post, I cannot get across my ideas in any stretch of the imagination. In a 7 to, hell, I've done a 20-minute video before, I can be a lot more nuanced. I can get into a lot more of my actual thought process behind things, and then it becomes a lot more, oh, hey, I understand at a much deeper level how this could actually apply to me, how I could change that, all these things. That is not what Instagram is for. If you are going on Instagram to learn, that's kind of okay. Like, maybe be aware of what you're trying to learn and of where you're getting it from. But you should not be going on Instagram for nuance. Nuance does not sell on Instagram. If you look at any of the algorithms, the stuff that is nuance of, oh, hey, do this, maybe change this, doesn't do well. Absolutes work very well. That is why I will have like 50% of my posts are currently just like, I'd say about 30% are exercise demos of walking through like, hey, I'm doing this to fix this problem. Try this. The other 30% is clips from YouTube of saying, hey, like come see the longer form content so you can get more of that nuance. And the other 30% is more like very broken down, very detailed, very nuanced carousels, typically like multiple picture frames, breaking down more of that nuance on Instagram. Those ones, not surprisingly, are the worst performing, just because there's a lot more nuance. Instagram isn't built for nuance, but those live on there to then, once I've attracted those people in, gotten more eyes on the just like very surface level stuff, there is then stuff on there to help you dive a little bit deeper. Then you get funneled into the YouTube and you can dive a lot more deeper into my actual thought process, why I do things. So big ol' response is, if you are going on Instagram for nuance, you're in the wrong fucking place. So that's why I originally got a little heated, was gonna DM him, was gonna post to my story with a whole breakdown. I'm like, well, there's really not, one, I don't want to argue on the internet. Two, there is no reason to argue on the internet because that person is obviously on social media for the wrong thing. Like, yes, that is shown. It is depicted as a one-size-fits-all approach. It really wasn't, but if he took it that way, then I guess he took it that way. It was simply just, hey, if you jump back because you're on your toes too much. Like, that's physics. Like, that is undeniable. If you are jumping back, you have to have pushed on your toes backward. You can't deny that. That is the fact. So you take out your toes, boom, there's a fix. In no way should you see any, like, even if it's your technical fault, if you do push off your toes, don't take anything as gospel. Like, if you push off your toes too much, that variation I showed could very well be a terrible variation to help you get better at not pushing off your toes. Like, you may fall fucking off. Like, of course it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Like, it's the fucking internet. What do you think? So this was basically just a response to that of like, hey, don't go on Instagram for nuance. It does not live for that. That is where you have longer form content like written blogs, emails, YouTube, shit like that. So this was basically just a response to that of do not get all your information from there. If you want like the most detailed, most nuanced approach possible tailored towards you, that is what coaching is for, and that is what I offer through Power and Grace Performance. So if you are coming to Instagram for the most nuanced approach, you're in the wrong place. That's where you go over to the YouTube. We have a lot more nuance, but even then, it's just like generally what I'm thinking about and where I'm going with things. It's not going to be nuanced to you. So then boom, you move one level deeper into the little funnel there, and then you have coaching where it is 100% tailored towards you. Crazy enough, it's like that's exactly what the profession is for. So yeah, if you want nuance, don't go on Instagram. If you want nuance, go on YouTube. If you want even more nuance than that, hire a damn coach. Whether that's me, whether that's someone else, it doesn't fucking matter. But long story short, be aware of what the platform is built for that you're getting your information from. I would say in terms of like nuance, Instagram has the least amount of nuance. TikTok actually has a fair amount of nuance depending on where you're at. Like there is a lot more like minute 30-second clips on there where it does get a little more nuanced. YouTube, then you get even more nuance. You have right now, we're already at 14 minutes of me breaking down how I'm structuring my social media approach to help more people. And then you want the most amount of nuance, hire a fucking coach. That's why they're there. Don't get your information from Instagram. That's all I got. I'm done with this guy now.